Okay, so we are considering the SAM for Unit 40, which is styling from the Art and Design qualification. It's currently sitting under the fashion pathway, but we want to look at revisiting it and see how we could deliver it under interior design.
Okay.
So at present, the SAM has the students submitting 2 different bits of work. One is more of a portfolio of styled images, and the second part is a written submission.
Okay.
So we want to look at this and see, you know, it's assessing all 4 outcomes. Is there another way of doing this?
Okay. So this assignment brief is covering all of our 4 outcomes, LO1 to LO4. So I guess my first question is, if we're covering all of the learning outcomes, but we're producing 2 separate pieces of work, do we want to amalgamate it into one piece of work, or are we happy with keeping those 2 separate elements of work being produced by the student?
Okay, well I think let's look at the learning outcomes and see if we can, you know, revisit the way that the assessment goes.
Okay, so LO1 is discuss the role of a stylist, LO2 is analysing fashion images, so it seems like LO1 and LO2 are more those kind of cognitive skills, doing research, producing what the result of your research is. LO3 is developing something, LO4 is presenting a portfolio, so they're a bit more skills based, producing a piece of work and presenting that piece of work. So I suppose we need to decide if we can amalgamate all these into one piece of work.
Yeah, I mean there's nothing wrong with having 2 different submissions and having a written bit and a portfolio, nothing wrong with that at all, but it would be nice if maybe we could see if we can blend it all into maybe one submission that incorporates all of those different things.
Okay, so let's look at learning outcome 1 and learning outcome 2, and we can see if we can alter how we're doing the submission to get them in that kind of visual context of work that we're producing.
Well, if we look at LO1, this is very much looking at roles and responsibilities within a historical context. So, I mean, you could look at maybe using a mind map. That might be a good visual way for students to look at the different images and how they link together, and that would give us a real visual way of assessing.
Okay, and make sure it's clear in the guidance that within that mind map they're using images to illustrate what it is that they're thinking of, bringing in that visual element of it.
And if we look at LO2, this is also about analysing images. So again, it looks like we're going into a more visual presentation or maybe a portfolio. I think that's the direction we seem to be going here.
Okay, I think if we are going to ask them in LO2 to analyse images, this is a level 5 unit. So they will have done in other units, in, you know, particularly in their level 4, they will have done a lot of image analysis and telling us their views and opinions of images. So I think rather than getting the student to look at one image and analyse that one image, which they've done a lot of already, if we get them to look at one image but analyse individual components of that image and multiple components of that image, so that they're starting focusing on the elements of it rather than the image as a whole.
Okay. Well, that makes learning outcome 3 and 4 quite straightforward. Because 3 is developing a strategy and 4 is presenting a portfolio.
So they can develop their strategy based on what they've done in LO1 and LO2, and then they can present all of the work they've done in the other learning outcomes.
So we're looking at one entire presentation. So I think now what we need to do is go back to the assignment brief because we've made some changes. So let's revisit that to make sure that it's really clear.
So I think the biggest job we have to do on the assignment brief element of it is this assignment brief has been written in a fashion context, and we want it to be in an interior design context. So there is language used within here that is fashion based, so we want to alter that. So we'll need to go through this part of it, and anywhere that there's fashion specific language, we need to alter it so it's more kind of in line with interior design.
And while we're talking about language, probably a good point to mention is making sure that the students understand about referencing. Obviously they're going to be looking at images, you know, and in a presentation format, the referencing is key.
And in our submission format, I think that we should make it clear that we're expecting them to reference all of the research work that they've done. Text-based research, visual research, and make sure that they're using the correct approach to referencing across all that media.
Okay. Well, I think we've got a plan. So let's just be clear on what we're doing. So the students are required to give a presentation. If we were to say, 15 minutes with a kind of Q&A?
Yeah, I think that's a good amount of time. We'll make it clear in the submission format that they won't be penalised if they go over that 15 minutes.
Okay, and obviously using PowerPoint or whatever kind of format makes sense for them. So we're looking at a mind map that's going to show the roles and responsibilities. We're looking at analysis of a set of images, potentially annotated in some way of the styling approach. We're going to have a definition of the styling strategy for an interior photo shoot for a magazine. And finally, 4 styled images of the interior that they're going to include in this magazine.
Yeah, I think that sounds good. I think it's good that we're covering all the learning outcomes in one piece of work.
Yeah.
And I think they're creating a portfolio where they're presenting what it is that they've come up with is more in keeping with the unit. It is a styling unit, so we want it to be a very visual based unit in the styles that they've come up with.
Absolutely. Okay.